If people are hungry, feed them. If people are oppressed, then give them victory and help. If people are poor, then enrich them from asking. If people are dying of starvation, then look at them as a responsibility on you. The Prophet ﷺ says, لا يؤمن بالله واليوم الآخر من بات شبعان وجاره جائع. He doesn't believe in Allah and the last day who sleeps satiated and his neighbor sleeps in hunger. So this is Islam, establishing the balance. And we are in the most imbalanced society on earth. And if we're participating in their cornucopia of plenitude, then we're part of it. Because the earth right now is completely tilted. It's out of balance. You have the south and you have the north, and it's out of balance. And the Muslims are the people that are supposed to establish the balance, to set things straight. But if we're not thinking about it, if we're not even thinking about it, if we're so busy stuffing our faces, right? If we're so busy with the maladda, with the laddat of dunya, with all this pleasure of dunya, that we're not even thinking about these other things because they're out of sight, out of mind. Right? When the Christians, they use guilt, right? They show all these starving babies and things like that. They just turn the channel. See, the Muslims, wallahi, people wept because I was in Mecca during the last 10 days of Ramadan, alhamdulillah. And when the Imam started making dua for Bosnia and Herzegovina, everybody started weeping. But really, not to belittle, because all of us, I felt the same way, and we all do. But it's like Abu Abdullah, when he left Granada, there's a place, it's called Mabka al-Muslim, the weeping place of the Muslim. When Abu Abdullah left Granada and surrendered Granada to the Christians, he looked back. They call it Zafrat al-Moor. Now in Spain, they still call it that, the sigh of the Moor. He looked back at Granada and started weeping. And his mother said, Ibka alayha kan nisa'i ba'dama lam tuhafid alayha kar rijal. Weep like women weep over it after you didn't defend it like men. You see? And those are the tears that we shed. You see, the tears, the collective tears of the Muslims are the tears of ajaiz. You see, they're the tears of people that have just rakanu ila dunya. Nasullah fa ansahum anfusuhum. They forgot Allah, so Allah made them forget their own selves. And if you forget your own self, forgetting yourself is not forgetting to eat. That's not forgetting yourself. Forgetting yourself is to forget what your responsibilities are in the world. That is nisyan. Is to forget that we have duties. We have something to do. We have a job. As Muslims, we have a job to take this deen out to the people. And really, and this is the truth, if the truth be said, and inshallah let the truth be said, the responsibility of us in these countries, if we're here, is to take this message out to those who will listen to it. And those who will listen to it are the poor and the oppressed. They're the mustad'afin. And if you read the Qur'an, you will come to that conclusion very quickly. The Mala do not accept Islam except in rare cases. And those people are important people. It's not to belittle their importance. Umar was from the Mala. Al-Khattab was a big family in Mecca, but he's not the majority of Sahaba. The majority of the Sahaba are the Abu Dhar al-Ghifaris and the Bilal ibn al-Rabahs. Right? They're the people that nobody cared about, that were the people that had no societal value. Abu Dhar was from a tribe of desert brigands, and Bilal was an Abyssinian slave, or Zayd, right? The freed slave of the Prophet ﷺ, or Ibn Mas'ud. These people were humble people. And they're the ones that followed the Prophet ﷺ. And they're the people that we should go out. And they're the people that will respond. And wallahi, I'll tell you this. If we can turn these societies around in this country, there are enough Muslims in this country that wallahi, I believe this. If in the United States alone, if the black community becomes Muslim, as they are becoming Muslim, despite our noses, like the Arabs say, رَغْمَ أُنُوفِنَا, and you see the transformations that take place in those people, and the light that enters into their houses, and the dignity that they get from Islam, that elevates them and makes them realize that لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ, that we have truly ennobled Bani Adam. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ إِنَّا خَلَقْنَاكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ وَأُنثَى وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلَ لِتَعَارَفُوا إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِندَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The one that knows that, truly knows that, will never feel humiliated, will never feel exploited, will never feel belittled or humbled by anyone in front of him, because he's the person of ikram from Dhul Jalali wa Ikram, from the one that gives majesty and possesses it, and gives generosity and nobility and possesses it. He allows his slave لِيَتَحَلَّى بِمَكَارِمِ الْأَخْلَاقِ, to ornament himself with the noble characteristics of man. وَإِنَّمَا بُعِثْتُ لِأُتَمِّمَ مَكَارِمَ الْأَخْلَاقِ. I was sent to perfect the noble characters of man, of humanity. And this is what Islam does. And if those people accept Islam, wallahi, when the Americans see the transformation within those communities as they're taking place in microcosmic scales right now, in New York, in Philadelphia, in Washington, in Atlanta, and these different places, they will have to admit that the transformative power of Islam is unequaled and unmatched on the face of the earth. Because it changes human beings, it changes societies, it raises those who are low up, and it lowers those who are high and exalted down, and they meet in a middle place, which is called the middle way, which is called Islam. But Sahaba didn't waste their time arguing. And the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا ضَلَّ قَوْمٌ بَعْدَ الْهُدَى إِلَّا أُوتُوا الْجَدَلِ. No people go astray after guidance except that they're given in place of that guidance argumentation. So when you see people arguing, my advice to you is to do what Imam Malik radiallahu anhu did. He used to get up from the gathering and say, أَنْتُمْ حَرْب. You're just war. مَعَ السَّلَامَةِ. The only people that should argue are the ulama. And Al-Raghib al-Isbahani says, الْجِدَالُ فِي حَقِّ الْعُلَمَاء مَكْرُوهِ فَمَا بَالُكَ بِالْعَوَامِ. That argumentation between ulama is makruh, it's distasteful. So what about those who don't have knowledge? So don't waste your time with people that want to argue, because there's a lot of them out there. And recognize we have to unite our efforts. We have to have economic sovereignty. Our communities have to become economically independent. This is essential to the vitality of our communities wherever we are, but particularly in these countries. We have to be economic. Our money should be going back into the community. We have to be teaching our children the deen, not in Sunday school. Not Sunday school. It is not enough. It's not acceptable. We need to be retraining so that we have, if they go into medicine or economics or literature or engineering or whatever they study at the university level, that prior to that they have had a sound foundation in Islam. They memorize either the whole Qur'an or a large part of it, or at least the jawahir, the essential points of the Qur'an, that they know the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, that they know their ibadat and mu'amalat. They know how to survive as a Muslim when they buy and they sell, when they pray, when they go on Hajj, when they do these things. They need to learn the deen. And the Arabic language needs to be revived. Your children should be learning the Arabic language. It's essential to our deen. English should not be the medium whereby we speak in our conferences and all these things. We need to revive the Arabic language, because the Arabic language is the language of empowerment in Islam. It is the language that accesses the book. There's no such thing as a translation of Qur'an. It doesn't exist. Whatever you read in these English words, it doesn't convey anything of the power of this message, because the power is in its i'jaz. It's in the incapacitating nature of this book. It incapacitates anyone who attempts to imitate it. And the power is in the Arabic language. And people have to go back to this language and learn it. So we have to be creating schools, and those schools need to have proper minhaj. It has to have a proper methodology whereby people come out after 12 years of education and they know their deen. They're able to go wherever they go and they have their deen, and nobody can shake them and get them following dajajila, false bearers of false teachings and things like that. They should be grounded firmly in the teachings of Islam that this ummah has accepted for 1,400 years. The vast majority, we follow the Sawad al-A'zam. Alaykum bi Sawad al-A'zam. We don't follow sects and groups and firaq. We follow Ahl al-Sunnah wal-Jama'ah, which is the vast majority of scholars. The Imam Nawawis, the Ibn Hajar al-Asqalanis, the Qadi Iyad's, the Ibn Abd al-Barrs, al-Raghib al-Isbahanis, all of these great scholars. These are the people we should be following. Not these people with funny ideas that have introduced innovations and things like that. But don't argue with them. Just get on with the business at hand. So there's lots to do. And believe you me, at Maidan right now, the field of battle is بِأَلَحَ الْحَاجِ إِلَى الْفُرْسَانِ. It's in the biggest need of knights, people to go out and engage. Islam is not vital if it's not engaging kufr. It's not vital. It loses its vitality because Islam stands up in the face of kufr and it says, Ha ana. Here am I. Here is Islam. Ha ana. Badirun li kufrika wa li dhulmika wa li jurika wa li fisqika wa li fasadika. All of these things. I'm the alternative. Ta'alaw ila kalimatin sawa'in baynana. Alla na'budu illa Allah. Come to a word that we share, that we only worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't let us take يَتَّخِذُ بَعْضُنَا بَعْضًا أَرْبَابًا مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ. Don't let some of us be mutakabbirin and others be mutadallilin, khadi'in. Don't let some of us be from the people that only hear the ayah لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ and forget the ayah that we're from ma'in mahin. And don't be from those who think they're from ma'in mahin and never hear وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Be people of the middle way, people of humility and people of izzah, of dignity. And when those two combine, you have the power of the Muslim. When you have humility with dignity, you have the power of Islam. If you have dignity without humility, you have an arrogant person. There's no benefit, neither to himself nor to others. If you have humility without dignity, you have somebody that's of no benefit. The Muslims are people of izzah and tawadu'. They're people of izzah and tawadu'. People of dignity and people of humility. That's the Muslim. He's the man he joins the opposites. He joins the opposites. So I don't, certainly not claiming to have all the answers, but those are just some things that I've thought about. Dinarun min amal khayrun min qintar min qawl. That a little bit, a dinar or a dirham, like a small amount of action is better than a whole bundle of words. So taking something and just holding to it. If you decide every day to read 10 ayahs of Qur'an, every day, and not stop on that, you see, or read a juz of Qur'an, or read a hizb of Qur'an every day and not stop on that. That's better than reading the Qur'an, the whole Qur'an from beginning to end one night and then not picking it up for the next 3 months. Because the best of action is that little action, but it's continuous. كانت أفعاله ديما. That's what the Aisha radiallahu anha said in Sahih al-Bukhari. His actions by their nature were continuous. The Prophet did action that continued. See, one of our biggest problems in our community is that we don't have sources of income. We're always begging. And Allah gave us the whole concept of waqf, of wuquf, awqaf. We need, the Muslims in these communities, you should be buying real estate for the masjid, for Islam, and then rent that out. And so you have every month, you have $700 coming from one house, or $1,000, or buy an apartment complex.